Welcome back to the Voice Podcast, Season 2, Deep Truths and Dirty Hands. I'm your host, Jamila Washington.
And I'm your co host, Caitlin. And today we aren't just talking about beauty, we're talking about society, biology, bias, and power of pigment.
Hi, I'm here with
Katie.
and my question to you is, can you define melanin in a social construct way?
What I would define melanin in a social construct way is just kind of people with kind of unique backstory, and we're all different in different ways, and I feel like theirs is more different in a physical way, which I think brings them to, how do I say it, different opportunities in life. I feel like people are able to judge them just right away versus with other people, more of their challenges are inside of them, so they're able to kind of, get different opportunities because of that as well. So I would say it's kind of people who are judged, or maybe not judged, just right away, based off what they're physically able to see versus not what they're mentally or emotionally able to see from different people.
First question for you today is, how would you define melanin in your own words, socially, not biologically?
Socially, I would probably define it as like how dark your skin color is.
Hello, and we're here with
Madeline Jong.
And my question to you would be, could you define melanin in a social construct way?
Well, I view melanin, as like, your kind of the color of your skin. And I think like a lot of times people don't really, talk about it much. It's just something that people really like more so kind of think about and all that. Because of course, you could be, a little darker, a little like tanner, more, or even be like pretty white too. And I think a lot of people kind of take that for granted, to be honest. And they don't really realize like how that kind of affects how people like see them and stuff.
My question for you today is, how would you describe melanin socially, not biologically?
That's a tough one. Probably the easiest way to do it would be like if you're able to connect with others on a deeper scale, because part of the aspect of being melanated or just having melanin, from what I've seen, is the ability to adapt. Adaptability is something that has been pushed upon us time and time again. Whether you look at history, no matter what culture, no matter where you're from, you're just capable of adapting to your circumstances. So being able to adapt is one of the key signs that I see for melanin, per se.
Thank you.
So, melanin in general, right? Technically speaking, many people have melanin. So, if you want that, I guess it's just the ability, socially, it's just the ability to just, I don't know, create culture, change things. Now, if you want specifically to talk about Black Americans, I guess we in the West, socially, we revolution, innovation, historically, we have been, what am I trying to say? What is the word? I'm so tired as well. Historically, we have been through a lot, and then we came out of everything every single time. So, that's my answer.
And we're here with
Yay.
my first question for you is to define melanin in your own words, socially, not biologically.
I would describe melanin as far as good. I'll say empowerment. I would say charisma. Words of upliftment, or if that's a word, but uplifting words. Far as how we can be perceived on the negative side, I would say misjudgment, or I'll say like misjudgment.
Okay.
I think pigmentation is when people don't look at you and don't look at you as white, I would say that there's pigmentation to people that are in Latino communities, obviously black people, Indian people in that way. And I think that it obviously unites people because you understand that there's different communities that you in where necessarily you're not in like a white community, but you're in kind of with other minorities who kind of understand and see that just because you're not white, people may look at you different for no reason, even though they don't really know who you are as a person.
Perfect. The second question would be, have you ever felt your skin tone defined how other people perceive you in a professional or intellectual way?
I think honestly, I haven't had it too much. I think mainly because I think it's just more so like your features rather than what could be like your skin tone, obviously. Like sometimes, I'm Asian, and we have a lot of different, like, in Asian like culture and all that, generally we like to have more lighter skin tones. And for me, like, it's not really been that much of an issue. Like, sometimes, even like my parents, they actually say that I should be more tanner because I don't get out often, don't get a lot of sun. So I used to be like really big shut-in and stuff like that.
My second question to you would be, have you ever felt as though your skin tone defined how people perceive you in a professional light or a intellectual light?
I feel like in a way, yes. I feel like my skin tone has given me different opportunities just based off what people can see. Like, people could maybe think that they're safer around me based off my skin tone, and that has led me to different opportunities, or that could maybe have put me up front of the line of someone else due to my skin tone. I think it has given me different opportunities in life, whether it has led me to get a different opportunity or it has held me back from getting an opportunity.
I think no matter what, people will always think of you of like less smart or less intelligent than white people just because of how racism is in this country, that people cannot know who you are like at all, but just because you're black or you're a different race that's not white, they see you as in a way inferior to them, and not just because of kind of ways of how they like grow up and other things, but even just naturally they kind of think of you as inferior. Yeah, I do feel that way.
Perfect. And the second question would be, have you ever felt as though your skin tone determined how people perceived you in a professional field or in an intellectual way?
Yeah, I'll say yeah. I feel like people probably look at me a certain way, or because of my culture or how I grew up, and think of me one way or put me inside of a box. But I know I'm more than that, so I'll probably say, yeah, as far as professionally, even just in the world today, just being realistic, like getting jobs or even just connecting with people outside of the black community sometimes. But sometimes it's people that don't, so it's like they go hand in hand. I've had good experiences with other people that accepted me with open arms. They didn't misjudge me right away, and actually got to know my intellectual intelligence and my character.
Thank you. And then the second question would be, have you ever felt your skin tone dictated how people perceived you intellectually or professionally?
Yes, I think it does. I think it, no matter who you are, people, the first thing they see is the color of your skin. So, yeah.
Okay. And then to build on that, and what would be your personal experience you've had?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Obviously I'm white, so when people, like, I feel like come up to me, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, I guess, but I feel like people look at me and like expect me to know certain things. I couldn't really tell you what that is right now, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My next question would be, have you ever felt like your skin tone dictated how you were professionally perceived or intellectually perceived?
110%. That's like, growing up, I was always seen as like the one of the kids that was forced to be better than everyone else, even though I can do the same dumbass mistakes as everyone, but I had to be better because of the fact that I was black. Like, that was always put upon me, so it's like everywhere I go, I have to be better than my counterparts that don't have the same skin tone as me. So it's like it it's an obvious thing that sometimes I wish I could forget, but it's not possible. I live with it every day. So, yeah.
Have you ever felt as though your skin tone dictated how people perceived you professionally or intellectually?
Uh, Going beyond that, it's more than just skin tone. I obviously have dreads. That definitely has affected the way people have perceived me, and just my overall countenance in general. I feel like I have a very strong, I guess. I move people in a way, not to be like conceited, but people either they really enjoy me or they really dislike me. It's one of those two things, and so I think it's my overall countenance outside of just my skin tone, and I think it has everything to do with just my overall blackness as well.
So that brings us to, what is melanin on a biological level?
Melanin in one and itself can be understood as an intelligent condensed form of sunlight capable of energy conversion and production. What do you think?
Well, that kind of sounds like skin color. What makes us brown in a more cellular breakdown?
I feel like it's a generally collective thought of melanin melanin is when you're being asked what is melanin. I feel like that's general what
Yeah.
people say.
And what's commonly unknown, as you can see up here, is the breakdown between melanin. All people make melanin, which is quite unknown, unless you have some sort of skin disorder like albinoism or vitiligo. And there's other skin disorders where melanin production is at its all-time low.
Melanin is commonly understood visually as shades of black and brown, but there are different kinds of melanin from different sources. For example, along with humans and animals, melanin can be found in plants. We just call it chlorophyll.
So what makes those plants green?
Pretty much.
Well, that brings us to specifically, how is melanin viewed in a societal level? When our team discussed it, we talked about how melanin is portrayed in the media. Several people brought up the over sexualization of young Black females.
I would also say I personally think what I've seen now recently, I feel like it's both negative and positive. I feel like more people are showing how they're embracing their blackness, how they're embracing it, but the other side is also showing how we're being killed, we're being killed. And there's just so many positive and negatives to how um blackness and melanin is portrayed.
Yeah. And that also brings us to the progression of Black is Beautiful. How have our Black Lives Matter movements and other Black movements progressed over time? Many team members said things like they have been stalled, or their youth ran, or youth is not as actively engaged in those type of movements anymore, especially when it comes to like school dress codes. A lot of school dress codes, job dress codes, all of those things specifically target melanated people.
I agree. And it's sad, honestly, to have to tell a child you can't wear this, that, and the third because it might be dangerous. It might be seen as a threat in middle school.
Or when they cut that young Black boy's hair on the wrestling mat, those dreadlocks, you guys remember that scandal. We also asked our team what words come to mind when you hear melanin.
A lot of them, what we discussed skin color, we discussed melanin is creative, melanin is adaptive. We're trendsetters, Black people are trendsetters. Melanin is rich, is diverse.
Yes.
Like
yes. So now that we've kind of established what people think about melanin or what people view as melanin, let's get into some historical facts. In modern Western history, darker skin, more melanated, was often framed as inferior and even polluting in pseudoscience systems, as well as what was used to justify discrimination and violence over different centuries.
Stereotypes that link high melanin skin with criminality, poverty, or lack of intelligence have been repeatedly enforced in the media, law, and policy shaping housings, employment, and criminal justice outcomes.
Yeah. And if you ever think about like when you're in the grocery store or just any public space and people like you can feel their level of uncomfortable around you or like you're being watched or for instance like when people aren't eligible for jobs. Why? What is that why behind it? Usually,
Well, I personally think it goes off looks. They just assume off rip. I mean, you can submit a resume. It could be the best resume in the world. You can be the best qualified candidate for the job, and they see you in person and it's I don't think you're right for the job.
something that really caught my eye was yesterday as we were interviewing the different candidates for the Check Your Temp segment. One girl in particular told us like, well, when you pointed me out of the crowd, why did you pick me? You picked me because I was Black. And she wasn't wrong.
That is true. I also say when it comes to the education system, when it comes to grouping stereotypes, it's always about race. It's always Black people are in poverty, but they compare it to white people being rich. There are rich Black people in the world, but there are poor white people in the world, but they don't compare that.
There sure are. So let's talk about colorism and how colorism shapes Black society. If you are unfamiliar with colorism, it is beyond racism. Many communities experience colorism where lighter skin is favored socially and economically over darker skin, even among people of the same racial or ethnic group.
Research and personal accounts describe darker-skinned people being passed over for jobs and promotions, receiving worse service, or being given harsher prison sentences than lighter people who are otherwise similar.
For instance, have we ever heard like a Black man say, "Oh, I don't like dark-skinned women"?
For sure. Oh my goodness, for sure. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I feel like it has a lot of historical context, like when we see the people who worked in the house versus in the field, or even like just knowing like you have to be more cautious when it comes to being a darker skinned person. So when we think back to like reproduction and all of that, do you really want to produce a dark skinned offspring?
Right. And I feel like it's so many things that come with that. As sad as it is to say, you have to teach your child at a young age about how society views their skin.
Yeah.
Who wants to teach their child that?
Leave comments, guys, on how we can fight back against colorism.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Don't allow anybody to project any stereotypes on you that tell you that you can't be here, that you're too dark, or that you're not smart enough, or that you're too dramatic, or you're too loud. You are exactly who you need to be.
They will never let a Black man be Captain America.
When I
look down at this golden statue, may it remind me and every little child that no matter where you're from, your dreams are valid.
Don't you ever forget that being black is an honor because you come from greatness.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
To be young, gifted, and black.
Who are you rooting for tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black.
The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity.
Wow, that was such an empowering video. What a great way to empower these young people.
I agree. I felt the strength of that video just from the words.
It honestly made you want to do what?
It made me want to start this podcast.
Oh, wow.
Make this video. Alrighty. In response to centuries of devaluing dark skin, many black communities have reclaimed melanin as a symbol of beauty, strength, identity, and resilience. Expressed in phrases like, "My melanin is magic."
Ooh, my melanin is magic? That's controversial. When it comes to melanin being magical, we've always heard these different rumors leading to specifically melanin theory. There are also fringe ideologies that create melanin as conferring mystical or inherently superiority, sometimes called melanin theory, which claim special powers or traits for highly melanated people. You ever wonder why we have not stopped fighting year after year after year? The resistance has not died. Without scientific evidence of specifically melanin magic, scholars describe these ideas as pseudoscientific mirror images of white supremacy biology. They respond to oppression but still misuse biology to explain complex social and historical realities. Do you ever think about, like, what is it called? It's like the destiny swap or like, yeah,
Or
the destiny swap.
Using, so what I was going to add to your piece, I'm sorry for interrupting. I was going to say, although there are so many positives to melanin, there are also negatives, such as people using our culture as a costume. If people have heard that before, our culture is not your costume, something like that.
Yeah. That goes into historically, whites have always oppressed us as a people of color. In all actuality, they want to be us. And if you disagree, let us know in those comments. But examples would be tanning beds.
They would also be BBLs, getting lip fillers, duck lips.
Or even melanin supplements. And that is a new recent discovery. As we know to the public, a new recent discovery. Melanin supplements can be used to help strengthen the immune system as well as, I know, that reaction was crazy.
That is so insane.
As well as to block strong UVs that attack people with less melanin and other things.
Chemists recently isolated a very small melanin-like molecule with unusual optical and magnetic properties that can absorb light far into the red and infrared range. Oh, wow. Uncommon for such a small organic molecule, this kind of molecule is being explored for bioelectronics and potentially for new ways of harvesting solar energy using melanin-inspired materials.
So, if you guys are unfamiliar with geography, this is a quick little science lesson. But the sun itself does, like, interact with our cells, our melanin. Melanin, for highly melanated people, tend to protect your body from the sun and the harmful UV rays. It also, as mentioned, can be used for, like, it's electromagnetic. We have pulses. We have heartbeats. We have all these things as human beings, but what differs us as human beings is that melanin. And we covered that melanin does a lot of different things, specifically harvesting solar energy. So what we have found is that these melanin particles have been used to create different bioelectronics, which is like your computers, your phones, your TVs, all of those things. And probably a lot more things that we don't have knowledge of as a society.
Something crazy off topic. This kind of reminds me of the movie Get Out.
Yes.
How they were using their brains, hearts. Even, they literally transferred their consciousness. What? That is so crazy. It's literally happening in real life.
That brings us back to the, what is it, Melanin Magic? Stay tuned, guys. That brings us to what's going on at UWO to close us off. For events, February 27th, Soul Food and Jazz at 6 p.m. Make sure you check Involved to find the locations for all of these events. March 19th, 5 to 6:30 p.m. is the Constitutional Law Topics, room 227 AB with Bridge the Divide. They are also having a event on April 21st, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Global Issues Topics, in room 227 AB.
So they're all in the same room, just different months, different times?
Yeah, except for this Soul Food and Jazz. If I'm not mistaken, that's at the Culver Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Also, a little side note, we have some scholarships for you. There's a Ed Carl's continuing deadline. The deadline is March 1st, 2026. It's $8,000. You guys fill out scholarships. Scholarships are so important. I just want you to know that. Get all the free money you can. That's, please.
There's so many people who can't afford to stay in college, so make sure you guys are racking up on your scholarships.
Free money is very important. There's also Brinkman and Aaron, I hope I'm saying this right. It will also be up on the screen for you all. Aaron G. Ackerman. The Brinkman is also March 1st, $3,000 for that one. Aaron is the 15th of March, $6,000. So please, and you can find these. I need to tell y'all because I did not find these scholarships until they said you have to look in academic works. That's how you find it on the UWO website.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave us a like, a comment, and a subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.